Hey, it's Denzel Jackson, and I'm here with another video, okay? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night for wherever part of the world you're in. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out your day to tune into our content. We were planning on providing daily, beautiful, essence-filled, organic content in regards to, the American family. Um, Once again, my name is Denzel Jackson. I'm from the inner city of Detroit, and we are here at the Jackson headquarters where we do creative space. Like, comment, and subscribe if you actually enjoy our content. In this segment, as you can see by the title, we are here to talk about accountability, not responsibility, but accountability, taking ownership of everything that goes on in your world. It is so powerful and it is so beautiful when you take a position of maturity, when you put yourself in position for being accountable and saying that, hey, this is me. And even asking yourself, what can I do differently to get better results instead of always trying to put the blame on somebody else. Don't you always get that friend or colleague that, it's never their fault, it's always somebody else's fault. And when you, once again, mature or just simply embrace life's variance, the life and the way it's set up, and you start to realize that a lot of the situations that you're in is because you stepped into the room, because you answered the phone call, because you went out to party when you shouldn't have went party, because you did this. And when you are accountable for you, I, I say, I tell people, growing up in my life, I didn't hear that I was a handsome young man or anything like that much, you know. And I'm getting somewhere because we're talking about accountability, but I just want to say that, in order for you to take ownership, you have to be able to look yourself in the eye. So, at this point in my life, at this day and age of my life, I take the time out to look myself in the mirror and talk directly to myself and ask myself the detailed questions that I seek answers to. I address me every single day about how to simply be better, be the best that you can possibly be, you know. And life can be great as long as you take accountability and take control of your decision making. It's simply your decision making. Life is what you like, what you picture, not what you say. So the visualization or the realization that you continuously create on a daily basis is what you will be manifested as. A lot of times people say like, I want to go travel, but accountability means taking ownership, putting the money towards the flight, planning for the flight, calling your boss and telling your boss like, hey, I would like to take the time off of work. Woo, 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 woo. You are literally, Dizel said, woo, 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 woo. Okay. A lot of times because I have so much information that, this is the reason why we do this is because the goal is to make sure that everything that does exist, it comes into fruition. And that's where I'm at in regards to accountability. It's just making sure that um, I don't just talk about it. I actually upload videos every day for you and for me, and I hope that I can be a testimony to your life. But when I started to embrace accountability, it actually opened up so many doorways because I didn't wake up just waiting on the how the wind is going to blow. Some people truly wake up and do not have actions in place. You know, my wife and I, we created regiments, and that's back to accountability, is actually constructing the day and how you see fit and removing things that are distractions or can cause you to be in a negative situation. I like to talk about it in regards to business, in regards to accountability. We was doing events. I remember doing TSU for my po' boys business, and we were out there doing events, and we had a young lady with us who, she didn't really take ownership of the role that I gave her. She probably saw me as a small business owner, and I am a small business owner, but uh, you can't let anybody treat you any kind of way. You have to understand your value. I knew that it was a big deal for my presence, my family's presence, to be at this occasion, and the young lady didn't basically put her role best. She didn't give her best foot forward. I don't want to say nothing negative. It's nothing negative. It's just that when something actually belongs to you, when you're in my position and everything that you create is truly from out of yourself, you are responsible and accountable. You're responsible first and accountable for every single thing that it goes and how it goes. And the more that you get into business, the more that you start taking on your own creative process, you will understand the value in not so much of being controlled, but making sure that you have the opportunity to manage the outcome. And this young lady, she didn't perform the way I needed her to, and I had hired a cook to be in the kitchen while I was planning. So we're gonna put two cooks in the kitchen and one person at front counter. This is the philosophy that we went with because we're at TSU. I mean, if you guys know anything about the size of this school, we were preparing ourselves for a big day, and basically the role wasn't fulfilled. So I was forced to be front counter cook and be front counter and cook at the same time. And it's accountability because I could have sat back and been like, man, that person didn't do this or that person didn't do that. And eventually you're going to realize that a lot of these chapters that you go through in life, you're going to have to do by yourself. A lot of these chapters, a lot of experiences that you're going to have to go through, you're going to have to do it by yourself. And I had to repeat it because that's where accountability come into action. It's nobody's fault that you didn't make it to this location in time. It's yours. It's nobody's fault that you didn't finish the book. It's yours. It's nobody's fault that your business did not launch the year that you wanted your business to launch. It's yours. And the moment that you start to embrace it, it gives you life. It gives you power. Like, oh my God, I have the power to start that business today. I have the power to start reading my books right now. I have the power to, go to the gym and make sure that I work out every single day. Accountability is it's all my fault. And the more that you embrace this concept, the more that you grab onto it, the more you will be able to create forward projections and literally start seeing the outcome. Because what's going to happen is, see, when you really take on accountability, what you do is, well, it's like, well, I am in control. So now you start creating the projection, you start creating the idea about how the day should go, because I'm going to make sure that the gas tank is full so that the wife doesn't have to worry about getting gas. I'm going to make sure that the tires, all these variables that could possibly not so much of mess up your day, but throw off the rhythm. And the more that you take control, the more that you grab on to things and say, hey, I know that that bill is coming up and I'm going to deal with it now. And I'm not going to deal with it later. I'm going to deal with that right now. The more that you start to see what's coming your way and attacking it and grabbing it and hitting it with every punch you got, well, eventually the day starts to go in a flow for you, in an avenue that favors you because you started to execute and create the idea. You became the law. This is good. I like this. You became the law of your day. See, a lot of people don't have control of their day, so they're not the law. So taking accountability for how much your supervisor pays you, or taking accountability for, you know, whether or not you got paid time off, taking accountability. This is everything. If you're not the law, you're not the person that's actually in control of how the flow of your day should go. But the moment you embrace law and realize what law was, well, I gave law to my job. My job takes 10 hours, so I gave law to them. I'm not going to give it to them no more. While I'm at work, on my lunch break, every time I get a chance, I'm going to make sure that I tune into Denzel Jackson's podcast so I can get daily information to download inside of my brain. This is the whole reason for this creation, this whole reason for this YouTube, is so that I can share with you my actual life experiences and hopefully that you can gain something from it. You know, I consider this to be a chapter of accountability because I am a service to the people. That is who I am. You're going to learn through time, you guys, with me. I am here to serve the people. I am service. When you find your purpose in life, when you find your purpose, then you execute, and that is accountability because then you get the results that you are looking for. Be responsible, yes, but take ownership of everything that you do. That is that's manhood, that's womanhood, that's adulthood. Real adulthood is accountability. I hate to be very transparent with you, but if your kid is failing in school, it's the parents' fault. If your kid is beating up on another kid, it's the parents' fault. If your kid goes to school cussing or using inappropriate language or doing inappropriate things, it's the parents' fault. And the more that you take ownership of that role, then the child will improve because you took the time out your day to see, why my child is acting this way. And that's important. Take ownership of your role. If you're father, be father. And I want to say that because we're talking about accountability, and what I'm about to speak on is very, very good information. I hope that you can receive this the proper way. I am a man, but I am not man first. What is first in my world? Because I can't put myself, when I say I am man, I mean I'm putting myself first. I'm putting my carnal being, my fleshly being. I'm putting the cravings of my natural primitive ways. I'm putting that first. If you decide to put your manhood, if you decide to put your identity in the primitive natures, your hood, your carnal flesh, if that's your primary focus, then it's harder, in my opinion, it's a little bit harder to execute correctly in your titles. So because dad trumps man in my world. Me being a father trumps Denzel Jackson's personal perception because father requires me to do things that probably Denzel Jackson didn't want to do. That goes along with my position as husband. When you take on a role as husband, then man steps back so that you can be the best partner to your partner. And that's the most, like, that's humility, that's humbling, and it is very unique, and it can be very powerful, and it can be the make and break of every relationship, in my opinion. I've seen it happen time and time again. So I would just say once again, put your man to the side. Take on the role. You take on the role at your job. You can't go to your job and be Denzel. You can't go to your job and just be yourself. You have to go to your job and take on the role that they have fit for you. Well, there's so many other roles that you play in this realm besides the one at your job. So why does everybody else have to get your mess? Get the man in you, the one man in you. Everybody else gets that, and your job gets the role, but you don't give the role to everybody else. And I think that it will be healthy if we learn to step back from being so primitive and really embrace the positions that we create. If you're a mother, be the best mother and be accountable. If you're a father, be the best father and be accountable. And I just want to say, shout out to all the pappies out here, okay? Once again, this is Denzel Jackson. This coming with you with love, peace, and happiness. I personally bear witness to fathers raising their children, okay? It's 2023. And you just thought that sign, that symbolic imagery had left society per se, but actually it's coming back around. So I just once again want to give a shout out to all the fathers that have not just taken responsibility, but they are now being accountable for the outcome of their child and their future generations, their whole family. And that's such a beautiful thing. And this is what's going to help us grow as an American society, as a people. You take accountability, my baby. If you got to love your country, okay? You plan on going somewhere else? Well, then go there. And when you go there, you're going to have laws and rules just like you do here. You're going to have things that you have to abide by just like you do here. So take ownership, take accountability of your country, be great, continuously be great, you know. And we're talking about accountability, even though listen to me, I keep saying the word over and over and over again. Why? Because the goal is for you to connect with that in particularly. I want to make sure that you recognize how powerful you are when you start to take ownership of all actions that transpire in your life. Life can be beautiful. Life can be one of the most beautiful experiences, but you have to give it your all. You have to make sure that you step in and step with a foot forward and make sure that you are assertive when it's time to be assertive and make sure that you're laid back when it's time to lay back. A lot of times people talk too much, you know. I genuinely believe that like a lot of blessings are missed because people are just they're vocal because they probably never had nobody to talk to. You know, you probably didn't have somebody that wanted to actually listen to what you had to say. So, leave a comment, you guys, and tell me what you think so that I can feed off of you. And I appreciate this. Once again, I don't care if it's this year, next year, this type of information will be valuable for you 20 years from now that you can share with your child. And that's what I know. So that's the reason why I chose to do this. And I'm taking accountability and responsibility for being involved in your life. And let's do this. Wake up, be assertive. When things happen, see how you could have done differently in order to get a different outcome. And the more that you move in this type of avenue, you will be able to navigate through life with without not so much mental hammering, not a lot of mental pressure because the things that you have action and I mean things that are in action that you have control over, you will deal with, and the things that happen in action that you do not have control over, you let them go. And that's the beautiful thing about life, learning to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. This is love. This is peace.